Let us for a few moments close our eyes and look into the divine form of God in the heart, which is our spiritual goal. Let the whole mind be turned towards Him. Let us keep away all other thoughts for the time being. Let the whole attention be on the single thought of the name of the divine form which we are visualizing in our heart. Let us meditate. Let us pray to Him so that all the humanity be in peace and joy. Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, who is the personification of all gods and goddesses, the Supreme God incarnate of this age. He has given very valuable teachings for us to make our life blessed. If we read his teachings, our life will never go waste. It will never be in vain. But we should study. That much effort we should do. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Every page contains full of instructions given directly by Sri Ramakrishna himself. Himself practiced all the spiritual disciplines for 12 years and has given out these pearls of wisdom. If we follow them, we are sure to get peace and joy wherever we are. We will not be lost in the world. On the other hand, we find the world beautiful and useful because the world has provided us an opportunity to enjoy spiritual ecstasy. So, Sri Ramakrishna always would tell that to reach the goal should be our ideal. Goal must be fixed. That is, realizing Paramatman, seeing God, and to experience peace and ecstasy One can reach that state by going either through thorny forest or along a good road. What is needed is we should not lose sight of the goal. We should practice spiritual disciplines with faith and devotion. In the end, it will lead us to the same goal. God is our goal. We should take refuge in Him. Nobody else will save us in this world, because everyone is for himself. It is very rare to find a person who loves everyone, who loves the whole creation. It's only the holy people who are struggling. We should have association with such people. Then we become inspired to do spiritual sadhana. If we don't give attention to the practice, we are sure to be lost in this world, because it is so attractive, it pulls you from all direction, and very difficult to say what will happen. So when the mind is young, when the body is young, when we are young, in spite of all our worldly duties and worldly responsibilities, we should never give up spiritual practices. Every day it is a must. Just like we eat food, we take food, even so we must keep on doing spiritual disciplines. So we should look upon the Divine Master, Sri Ramakrishna, in this modern age. He is our all in all. Let us have tremendous faith in Him and devotion to His lotus feet. Let us follow very carefully, with all sincerity, His teachings. We must be ever watchful about the goal. We must never forget the aim of life. Whatever we may be doing, we should know for certain that the ultimate goal of life is to realize God. Without that, life is in vain. You may have wonderful material achievements, they mean nothing. Spiritual achievement is a real achievement, which takes you away from darkness to light, which alone gives you real peace. So, we should keep our eyes always turned towards Him. Especially when we sit in for meditation, we are consciously sitting for prayers, for offering our devotion. We should turn completely towards Him, surrender to Him, pray to Him to protect always. Life is not meant for spending just in the pleasure of the body. Let us not allow our life to be spent in vain. We should try zealously for the realization of the Master. For any achievement, you require at least 15-20 years. Even materially speaking, if you have to become a graduate and complete in your education, it will take at least 15 to 20 years. Then what to speak of spiritual graduation? What to speak of spiritual education? We have to make our efforts. Let us feel always that we are His, absolutely and forever, in body, mind, soul, be His. In that becoming, everything that religion means and is will be realized. Becoming His only, we will reach the goal of all human duties and responsibilities. If the duties and responsibilities do not take you towards God, What is the use of such responsibilities? What is the use of such duties? Tell me. They should give you spiritual insight. To forget the goal of life, that means not to think in terms of realizing God or giving any attention to spirituality. It is nothing but forgetting the goal of life. To forget the goal of life is to ruin ourselves. We do not know again when we are born, in what shape, in what form, where, when we would be born. We don't know. So, we should always keep the ideal before our eyes, and we should struggle and struggle and struggle to reach it. Struggling. Without struggling, you won't get. I use the word struggling because it appears difficult to clear the mind of all worldly impressions. Mind is full of worldly impressions. There is no place for spiritual impression to stay on. So it's really a struggle to get rid of all these worldly impressions. That's why I use the word struggle. In Sanskrit, we use the word tapas. We won't yield to these impressions. We resist them. We have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear since we are holding on to the pillar, the Divine Master, the Lord of the universe. We shouldn't be disheartened by the thought that we have not attained our goal. We should have considerable patience. Unless the worldly impressions are removed from the mind, you can't get the vision of God. Unless the whole mind becomes clean, you can't have the full reflection of God. You can't have the Samadhi till the mind is free from all impurities. So when we keep on doing practices, God will grant us His vision and help us in every way and at the correct time. Leave it to God. Let us not force it on Him. If you leave it to God, He will do nicely. If you force upon Him, you don't know whether it is correct or not. Mostly it will not be correct. To give an illustration, once Mathur Babu came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, Master, you have granted state of Samadhi to many disciples. Why should I not get? Why don't you show your grace on me and make me experience that Samadhi? So he was keep on pressing him. Sri Ramakrishna said, it will come at the correct time, don't force yourself that way. But like the child forcing the mother, it wants some candy, it cries and it dances and the mother should immediately throw away all the candies to the child. So this way, Mathur Baba was forcing him, and Sri Ramakrishna said, all right, since you are pressing so much by the will of the mother, you will have that Samadhi experience. Sri Ramakrishna said this, then he got into that Samadhi state. His mind was simply rising involuntarily. It is not asking Madhur Babu whether I should rise up, etc. See, our mind sometimes behaves, sometimes acts in its own way. We may want it, we may not want it. It does in its way. If you watch it, you will know many things, how mind functions. So here, Mathur Babu was literally, he was taken aback. He was frightened because he does not know where his mind is going. Simply it is rising and rising and rising. And finally, he came to a state where he is feeling that he is not the body and he is losing the consciousness of the world. It was too terrible for him because his mind, he was not prepared. He was not prepared because he had worldly impressions still. Because he was coming to Sri Ramakrishna frequently, he was fortunate enough to have the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna. But since the worldly impressions are all there in the mind, they are pulling the mind in one direction, and Mathur Babu didn't have sufficient willpower to get rid of all these worldly things, and he became terribly frightened. And he is shouting, "Oh Master, what are you doing? What are you doing? Enough of this, enough of this. I don't want this samadhi anymore. Please bring me to the normal consciousness." He is shouting and shouting with same vehemence as he requested to have samadhi. Now he is requesting the Master to bring him down from the samadhi because he does not know how to come down. So that is the terrible experience. Then Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, "Did I not tell you? If you are not prepared, you will not be able to contain. So, leave it to God." Sri Ramakrishna says, "Leave it to me. I take care of that." So let us maintain our mental balance under all circumstances and not be shaken. We should not be shaken. Things happen many times which would shake us. We should be more careful on those occasions. If you keep on remembering God every day more intensely, keep on repeating the divine name more vigorously, that will give you strength. You are living for the sake of God. You are not living for the sake of the world. If you think you are living for the sake of the world, you are gone. If you think you are living for God, that means you are blessed. So we should be very careful. Realization and bondage, both are in our hands. The very important role in our life is played by the mind. Don't stuff the mind with all sorts of things. Don't allow the mind to get attached to more than one thing. If the mind becomes diversified, you can never reach the goal. These are all spiritual gems told by Sri Ramakrishna. Fix the mind on the divine form of God. Don't divert the mind here, there, run after. So, then Sri Ramakrishna says we should learn to see God in everything about us. We should smear God over everything. If we do that, then our mind will think of Him alone. Somehow we must adopt some methods so that mind is always remembering God. Let us do our assignment properly. Whatever we have to do in this world, with the idea that I am doing these things as duty for duty's sake. That's all. I don't want the results thereby. I don't want to profit myself by doing the duty. I do the duty for the love of God. With that attitude, if you do the work, it has got tremendous spiritual value. That is, that will burn all the seeds of karma. Suppose you don't have that attitude and keep on doing the things, arrogating yourself, then you are under the wheel of cause and effect. You are under the rigorous law of karma. As you sow, so you reap. You come under that law. But if the seeds of karma are burnt down, they will not sprout, then you will not be born again and you won't be miserable at all, because you will be blessed with the holy company, holiest company of God. If you want, you can remain independent, enjoying the beauty of God. Or if you want, you can merge with Him. Whatever way you want, God grants you. And you will be peaceful forever. So Sri Ramakrishna tells how to turn all our activities as some kind of duties only by keeping the mind in God, repeating divine name all the time, mentally, and doing meditation regularly, very important. That means daily. Meditation, japa, chanting of hymns, these things will keep our body, our mind and our speech in pure. That means they have got purifying effect. So when we try to live the life this way, then we attain yoga. So Sri Ramakrishna said, one attains yoga when one completely effaces sensuality and craze for gold. As long as we are pulled down by these two, we are always in bondage. These are the main enemies: sensuality and craze for gold. It drags us down and down and down and down. Very difficult to get out of them. You know it's not good, but you can't avoid it. So, we are driven to that state, we become hopeless and helpless. Then it is too terrible for us, it's too difficult for us. So let us not allow our mind to go that way. This way I am keep on telling, in Sri Ramakrishna you are safe in every respect. Hold on to him, hold on to his instructions, read his gospel every day. That itself is a mantra. Then you will see the beauty of it. As I said, try to attend the services here. It's meritorious. It is purifying to attend the services. Every day evening 6 o'clock there is service. Arati is done to Sri Ramakrishna. The living embodiment. Daily worship is done. He is always bestowing his grace on those who turn to him. So let us make use of that and try to follow his teachings as best as we can. Page 353. In the morning, the master and Yam were conversing alone under the bell tree. The master told him many secrets of spiritual discipline, exhorting him to renounce lust and gold. He further said that the mind at times becomes one's guru. After his midday meal, the master went to the Panchavati wearing a beautiful yellow robe. 2 or 3 Vaishnava monks were there, clad in the dress of their sect. In the afternoon, a monk belonging to the sect of Nanak arrived. He was a worshipper of the Formless God. Sri Ramakrishna asked him to meditate as well on God with form. The master said to him, "Dive deep. One doesn't get the precious gems by merely floating on the surface. God is without form, no doubt, but He also has form." How clearly Sri Ramakrishna tells here. There should not be any doubts or any confusion regarding this. Why there are so many forms, why there are, in spite of our shouting like that, God's forms do exist. God's forms are limitless, just as the beings are limitless. So, he says, forms of God are real. Each form of God has got special power to manifest. They do have it. By meditating on God with form, one speedily acquires devotion. Then one can meditate on the formless God. It is like throwing a letter away after learning its contents and then setting out to follow its instructions. Rakal, Harish M. and Latu had been staying with Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. About 9 o'clock in the morning, the master was sitting with them on the southeast veranda of his room when Balram's father and Devendra Ghosh of Shampakor arrived. A devotee asked a question, "Sir, how does one obtain love for God?" Sri Ramakrishna answered, "Go forward. The king dwells beyond the 7 gates. You can see him only after passing through all the gates." At the time of the installation of Annapurna at Chanak, I said to Dwarika Babu, "Large fish live in the deep water of a big lake. Throw some spiced bait into the water, then the fish will come, attracted by its smell. Now and then they will make the water splash." Devotion and ecstatic love are like the spiced bait. God sports in the world as man. He incarnates himself as man, as is the case of Krishna, Rama and Chaitanya. Once I said to Keshav, the greatest manifestation of God is in man. There are small holes in the bark of a field where crabs and fish accumulate in the rainy season. If you want to find them, you must seek them in the holes. If you seek God, you must seek Him in the incarnations. The Divine Mother of the universe manifests herself through this 3.5 cubit man. There is a song that says, "O Mother, what a machine is this that thou hast made? What pranks thou playest with this toy, 3.5 cubits high." One needs spiritual practice in order to know God and recognize divine incarnations. Big fish live in the large lake, but to see them, one must throw spiced bait in the water. There is butter in milk, but one must churn the milk to get it. There is oil in mustard seed, but one must press the seed to extract the oil. The devotee asked a question, "Has God form or is He formless?" Sri Ramakrishna said, Wait. First of all, you must go to Calcutta. Then only you know where the Maidan, the Asiatic Society and the Bengal Bank are located. If you want to go to the Brahmin quarter of Karadha, you must first of all go to Karada. Why should it not be possible to practice the discipline of the formless God? But it is very difficult to follow that path. One cannot follow it without renouncing lust and gold. There must be complete renunciation, both inner and outer. You can't succeed in this path if you have the slightest trace of worldliness. It is easy to worship God with form, but it is not as easy as all that. One should not discuss the discipline of the impersonal God or the path of knowledge with a bhakta. Through great effort, perhaps he is just cultivating a little devotion. You will injure it if you explain away everything as a mere dream. Kabir was a worshipper of the impersonal God. He didn't believe in Shiva, Kali or Krishna. He used to make fun of them and say that Kali lived on the offerings of rice and banana, and that Krishna danced like a monkey when the gopis clapped their hands. One who worships God without form perhaps sees at first the deity with 10 arms, then the deity with 4 arms, then the baby Krishna with 2 arms. At last he sees the indivisible light and merges in it. It is said the sages like Dattatreya and Jadabharata did not return to the relative plane after having the vision of Brahman. According to some people, Shukadev tasted only a drop of that ocean of Brahman consciousness. He saw and heard the rumbling of the waves of that ocean, but he did not dive into it. A brahmachari once said to me, "One who goes beyond Kedar cannot keep his body alive. Likewise, a man cannot preserve his body after attaining Brahmagyan. The body drops off in 21 days. In the case of an ordinary aspirant, the body drops off after he attains the knowledge of Brahman, but this is not so in the case of a divine incarnation, because he is born with a special mission to teach mankind. There was an infinite field beyond a high wall. 4 friends tried to find out what was beyond the wall. 3 of them, one after the other, climbed the wall, saw the field, burst into loud laughter, and dropped to the other side. These 3 could not give any information about the field. Only the 4th man came back and told people about it. He is like those who retain their bodies even after attaining Brahmajnana in order to teach others. Divine incarnations belong to this class. Parvati was born as a daughter of King Himalaya. After her birth, she revealed to the king her various divine forms. The father said, "Well, daughter, you have shown me all these forms, that's nice, but you have another aspect which is Brahman. Please show me that." "Father," replied Parvati, "if you seek the knowledge of Brahman, then renounce the world and live in the company of holy men." But King Himalaya insisted. Thereupon Parvati revealed her Brahman form, and immediately the king fell down unconscious. All that I have just said belongs to the realm of reasoning. Brahman alone is real, and the world illusory, that is reasoning. And everything but Brahman is like a dream. But this is an extremely difficult path. To one who follows it, even the divine play in the world becomes like a dream and appears unreal. His eye also vanishes. The followers of this path do not accept the divine incarnation. It is a very difficult path. The lovers of God should not hear much of such reasoning. That's why God incarnates himself as man and teaches people the path of devotion. He exhorts people to cultivate self-surrender to God. Following the path of devotion, one realizes everything through his grace, both knowledge and supreme wisdom. God sports in this world. He is under the control of his devotee. Shama, the Divine Mother, is herself tied by the cord of the love of her devotee. Sometimes God becomes the magnet and the devotee the needle, and sometimes the devotee becomes the magnet and God the needle. The devotee attracts God to him. God is the beloved of his devotee and he is under his control. We shall stop here. Any questions to ask? No questions? So let us not enter into any kind of arguments. Why there are so many forms? Why God has got these forms? Why God has... stop all those things. No. You have come to Sri Ramakrishna has said like this. Period. Everything is true. Gods come and go as human beings come and go. We become blessed by having the vision of that form. So that way it was very useful for us. If that form were not existing, how difficult it would be for us. All people cannot comprehend the formless aspect. So you must intensely think of God every day. Even 5 minutes thinking must be very intense. Morning, evening, afternoon, night, midnight, daytime, all the time. In office, in home, always in the mind, one strong vibration of God's name should be there always. That keeps you very well. Because you are repeating God's name, you will never do things which are not to be done. In the beginning it gives you little difficulties, but keep on practicing, you will get perfection. Everything is in practice. Anything to ask? Very good. So this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the essence of all the scriptures you find here. Ramayana, Bhagavad, Gita, everything. Whatever is to be told has been said. Whatever is to be given has been given. In this incarnation, Sri Ramakrishna has come to give everything. He attained everything, he gave out everything. He got all the spiritual powers. Sri Ramakrishna used to say to Vivekananda, I have got 64 siddhis. Do you want them? He was prepared to give, he's not simply talking. So, that means these are the words of the great master. So, let us make our life very, very nice, spiritually speaking. Worldly life is there, but don't make worldly life more important than your spiritual life. That's what I want to say. Let your spiritual life take a prominent place. Worldly life secondary. You must rise to that occasion. Don't be like ordinary worldly people. You are essentially spiritual. You are living in the world just to have your livelihood and earn something. That's all. You are living in the world not to lose yourself. You are living in the world to do sadhana. That's important. So with these words, I shall conclude my talk. 23rd is Monday. We are having Sri Kali Puja. In Belur Math, they do Kali Puja whole night. All the monks and devotees sit together and do kirtan, bhajans, worship, havan. All the things are done. But here we start from 6 o'clock evening, usual arati. After the arati, there is a brief talk and bhajans on Divine Mother. Then it will be followed by special worship. Then all the devotees will offer Pushpanjali. Then prasad will be served. So I request you to attend all these programs more vigorously, make use of them nicely. They will all help you in your spiritual endeavors. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and Soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean, He is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.